Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
And here we are. Hello everyone, welcome to finally another show of SOC. Hey Ritchie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Hello Natalie, it's great to see you today, and great everyone joined us. Good to see you all in the audience, and glad you could join us, and you can chat with each other, chat with us, ask us any questions that you want, and we're here for you. So your participation in the show just makes it even better.
Fantastic. You still remember your lines. That's really awesome. It's been a really long time. We apologize for being AWOL for a while, but it's really great to be back. We've been busy. It's been busy times for both of us and Fujifilm in general, I think. A lot of the things will, reveal themselves as the weeks and months go by. But yeah, you've been busy, Ritchie.
Oh, yes, I have. And taking a lot of pictures, and my X100 VI came. I know Fujifilm calls it X106. I call it X100 VI. And so that's kept me pretty busy. Yeah, just all sorts of stuff going on, all sorts of projects and stuff. So it's great to take a break from that and just chat, Fujifilm cameras and stuff. So glad to be here.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's wonderful to have another opportunity to chat with you, Ritchie, and also with everyone in the audience. Thank you so much for tuning in. There are quite a few people that are watching already, which is absolutely fantastic. It's great to have you all here. Why don't you, tell us in the comments where you're watching from, what it is that you're doing, what you're up to. Have you been here before, or is it your first time watching? We love to hear from you. And also where you are, what you're doing, would be absolutely fabulous to get some feedback, to get, us warmed up before we jump in.
And this is a community, so it's not just Nathalie and I up here chatting. It's you guys in the audience, and you guys making friends with each other, and that connection, and so it's all just a big, wonderful, family of sorts.
Yes, a big happy family, and we want to grow it more. So if you know of other people who might be interested in this show, why don't you just quickly send them a link and invite them? The more the merrier. We hope, not only that we get to meet you guys, but also that you, like Ritchie already said, meet each other in the comments and get chatting. There's often interesting conversations happening alongside the show. So make friends, reach out, and get your questions ready. We will be talking about, answering your questions, whatever, later on in the show. So you'll get a chance to shout out. So let's dive in, shall we? We've got, a couple of people here in the comments. Let me just get this up and running and see who we've got. We've got Joss here. Hi, it's great to have you back. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah,
and who else is
here?
See you. We have Miles from Cape Town, countryman. That's great. Thank you so much for tuning in, Miles. It's great to have you. I hope that the weather's calmed down in Cape Town. There have been terrible storms. So I hope the sun is shining again that side. Oh, there's a face we haven't seen in a long time. Hello, Stanley.
Yep.
Thank you for being here. It's really appreciated. For everyone who doesn't know and who's new to the show, Stanley is the backbone in the background. He's pushing a lot of buttons and making sure that everything goes according to plan. So
the show would not be the same without him.
Definitely not. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. And then, have we got a new face here, Dale? It's great
Dale
to have you here.
Yeah.
Albuquerque. I love that name. Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much.
Just don't take a wrong turn in Albuquerque. The old Bugs Bunny line.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one. Sorry.
There's
Am I too young for that?
Gag and Looney Tunes, about Albuquerque.
Okay. I just know it happens. It appears in a song from the 80s, probably.
Probably.
Hi, Dan. Great to have
Dan
you.
Dan joined us today. Yeah.
Yes.
He's
going all retro.
Yeah, XC1. That was my introduction into Fujifilm. We would not be sitting here talking today if not for
excellent.
Fujifilm XC1.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thank you, Fujifilm, for releasing an XC1. And then we've got someone joining from the Dominican Republic. That's absolutely wonderful to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hello, Wayne.
Yes, Wayne is bringing the sunshine. And Lisa is also here. She's tuning in from New York. That's fantastic.
Hello.
Excellent. Nice.
Seems
great
like
to
a
have
lot of
you.
new faces.
Yes. And familiar faces.
Yep.
Hello, Bo. Thank you so much for being here. From a windy train platform. Oh dear, that does sound a bit uncomfortable. I hope the train arrives soon.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's fantastic. We have lots of new faces, familiar faces. That's absolutely wonderful. It is fantastic to have you all here. I think we're going to, jump into the show. We've got quite a few things that we want to chat to you about. So before time takes the better of us, we better get started, shall we?
Yep.
So
let's do this. as we used to say.
Let's do this. We haven't heard that in a while. Hey. Okay. All right. Here we go. We have prepared 3 must-have recipes, like the title of the show already gives way. The thinking behind it is that, as we also see, there are quite a few new faces here. A lot has happened in the Fujifilm community, cameras, the X100, 6 VI, whatever you want to call it. And so we thought we prepare some recipes for you that you can use whether you're new to Fujifilm or you have been here for a while and you want some good all-rounders that will, give you some really cool results. So we're going to dive into that. And
I was just going to say that a lot of the recipes are modeled kind of after film stocks, and film stocks are generally either daylight balanced or tungsten balanced. So they're intended for very specific light scenarios, and you can get odd results when you use them outside of that. And film simulation recipes can be the same way, can be very similar in that regard. So we wanted to pick recipes that you could use, no matter what. You could kind of set it and forget it kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. And I was running away already. Sorry, my fingers.
That's all right.
Or trigger happy. But before we go into the actual recipes, again, if you're new here and you are not quite sure about the entire topic and even how to load a recipe, there are loads of resources that are available for you. We've been running this show for over 3 years. We're in our 4th season now. And, obviously Ritchie has been writing for even longer and longer, and he's got a wealth of information on his blog. So you can choose any of those or even more resources. We will share the links in the comments so that you can get some assistance into loading recipes quickly and easily to make it easy for you. So that is the first thing that we wanted to share with you in case you're new. And in case you have been with us for a while, maybe a refresher or, some new methods, quicker methods that might help you to get more efficient with loading recipes. Since we, often chop and change, the more recipes Ritchie, releases, the more the choices we have. So have a read.
The first time or two in putting one, it can be a little tricky. But once you've done it a couple times, then it's like super easy, super fast, But if you're stuck, you're not sure, you're feeling intimidated by it, there's tons of resources out there. Nathalie and I both have them, which we have the links for. But I mean, just a Google search or looking on YouTube, you'll find lots of other resources. So don't let that stop you from trying a recipe or anything like that. There's a lot of information available to help you through it.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're stuck, you can also always reach out to us.
Yes.
In addition to that, we obviously love Fujifilm film simulation recipes and have written and spoken about it in a lot of ways, and the reasons why you can find in many different resources. And there's an article that Ritchie wrote that was published on the Moment blog, which is full of information. So I definitely recommend you go and read that. Again, there's a link in the comments. We're bombarding you with links today again, but got good feedback that you all enjoyed that very much. So there it is for you to read up some and get in the know. Lots of information to get you kickstarted in case you're new. Or, like I said, brush up and get some more information. I absolutely love this article about why Ritchie shoots JPEG, so I can only recommend it.
No, thank you. It was fun putting that together.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I had fun putting this together, thanks to, also your feedback. Like you were saying, a lot of your recipes are more specific for certain scenarios. So we thought, let's look for recipes that you can kind of like use all the time, all around, that give you great results no matter what, so that you don't have to chop and change all the time. And this is kind of like what we came up with, and want to talk to you about. Is there anything specifically that you can maybe share with us, Ritchie, about each of these recipes, or why we ended up with the three, some common denominator or something maybe?
Well, each of these will give you a very different look. So, that was part of it too. We didn't want to give you three recipes that are very similar to each other, but, everybody has their own taste and styles. So, depending on your taste and style, you might prefer one over the other two. But all three of these are very excellent for just everyday. This could be your one recipe that you use all the time. Some people do have one recipe that they go to and they use it like, for most of their photography or all their photography. Other people, they like to have a variety. I like to have a variety. Some people like trying all of them. So if you've never tried these, then this is our invitation to you to try them. If you're looking for a recipe that you can use just all the time, hopefully one of these three will be that for you. What we appreciated about them all is that, if it's daylight, if it's nighttime, if it's indoors, if it's outdoors, if it's cloudy, if it's sunny, whatever the situation is, you can get good results with each of these.
Yes. Fantastic. Great summary. I can't wait to jump into this because I was extremely curious and excited about the first one. So I want to get started right here. Because the funny thing was that I found myself for the first time without a recipe when I got my X106, because I was really lucky and got mine on the very first day that it was released. And I was super keen to shoot with Reala Ace. And then I had to put my thinking cap on because there were no recipes. It was the first time. It was really a peculiar feeling, I must say. And then a couple of weeks later, you quickly, delivered this recipe, which is really cool and based on Reala Ace. So it's at this point for the X106 only. But don't worry, we got your back. So if you don't have one, don't worry.
And also the Reala Ace film simulation is going to be coming to the other X-Trans V or 5th generation X-Trans cameras sometime over the summer, Fujifilm said. So that if you have XH2, XH2S, XT5 or XS20, you'll be able to use this in time.
Yes, you will. So listen up. It's really quite a cool recipe. And while we were planning the show, you had just released this recipe. So this is why we thought we definitely need to add this to our list of recipes, because yes, it definitely is an all-rounder, a brand new all-rounder. And it's definitely film-like. Interestingly, I thought compared to many of the others, and that's obviously because it is based on Reala Ace, very, very vibrant and natural looking.
Yeah, so Reala Ace is, I would put it in the pro-negative family of film simulation. So it's in the same neighborhood as pro-negative standard and pro-negative high. It's unique to both of those, but it's similar to both of those as well. And this recipe is similar to Fujicolor Pro 160C, which is a film stock that Fujifilm made for a short time. That was their answer to Kodak Portra VC. And for those unfamiliar with Kodak Portra, the versions of it, when it first came out in the late 90s, it had two versions: an NC, which was more flat and more neutral, less vibrant, and a VC, which was more vibrant, more contrasty, more bold version. And then later on, they made they did away with the 2 versions and kind of went in the middle, and that's the Kodak Portra 400 that we have today. Well, rewinding back to that time when there was 2 versions, Fujifilm came out with their answer to that, and Pro Negative or Pro 160C was their version, basically their take on Kodak Portra 400 VC.
Excellent. Now for some history fundies, this is a really cool background information. I suggest that we have a look at what this recipe looks like. So it's, an all-rounder and gives you great color and can give you results like this, for example.
Yeah, this is obviously golden hour, sunset light, and it kind of gives you an idea. I like this because there's a lot of different colors. It may not seem like it at first glance, but you have blues, yellows, even reds, greens, all in there, and you kind of get an idea of how all of those colors work when there's some warm light on it.
Yes, we love to choose sample images that reflect lots of different scenarios so that you get a good idea as to what this recipe delivers. So this is a really cool example for golden hour, and this image is an example for an overcast day. Mm-hmm. So it definitely works in this scenario as well. I found it, because it's not very contrasty, so it's nice that you still can control the highlights and you don't lose the shadow. So it really makes it very versatile, which I appreciated.
Yeah, but and I realized I made a mistake in what I was saying earlier about Portra. I said Portra 400, but I meant Portra 160. Portra 160 NC, Portra 160 VC, not Portra 400.
Yes.
So I apologize for that mistake. No, I hope I didn't lead anybody astray on that one.
You're forgiven.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. But the recipe also delivers really nice colors, very vibrant colors.
Yeah, this is vibrant. This is also like midday, so you get kind of an idea of what, mostly sunny. You see there's clouds in the sky, but mostly sunny midday with vibrant colors, the reds, the red flowers, and the green trees of spring, and that kind of thing.
Yes. So that's I like that a lot, and I have a similar kind of a scenario as far as the daytime's concerned. Also, it's very bright, but you get good colors. And when I was taking this photograph, I don't know, I may be mistaken, but it reminded me a little bit of the Rockwell, quite a recipe that you launched a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, I can see that. It's definitely has the vibrancy, especially you get the warm light on it. You so get the colors pop.
So if you into poppy, punchy colors, and you're without an X106 and you don't want to wait, then maybe there are options for you. But I thought that was really interesting. I enjoy the fact that it's, it keeps the white in the clouds. I really love cloudy skies with this recipe.
Yeah. Yeah, it does really well for that. If you have like a partly cloudy, you can get some really cool pictures.
But not only that, it also really works well at night.
Yeah,
I dig this picture.
Yeah, it's a really cool band. I just give them a shout out. I guess they're not watching, but look them up if you. It's the Black Hole, and they do like blues rock, like 1970s era, 1960s era blues rock. So they put on a really great concert. So
excellent.
Yeah, check them out if you have a chance.
Nice. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And looks good too.
Yeah, very, very, very talented. They're young too. They're all I don't know, in their young 20s, I think,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool stuff. So yeah, so that just goes to show how versatile this recipe really is. And then, some more nice bright yellow flowers just to underline the versatility of it all.
And I hope you guys are. I was gonna say I hope you guys in the audience, seeing these pictures can kind of get an appreciation for how very analog-esque these images are that this recipe produces.
Yes, so that's usually the aim of Ritchie's recipes, that most of them will, if they're not based on a film stock, but they give a lot more analog feel, so that we don't get this processed digital look that us who are here don't necessarily like so much. So there's method behind the madness here. So it's we've said it a couple of times and we will say it a few more times with the upcoming recipes. A great recipe for you to try for every day. It's really cool to have a recipe, especially when you start out, that you don't need to chop and change all the time, but you can just get a feel for it and use it in all sorts of scenarios and see what it does to your images. And it's a really nice introduction to recipes. Or if you've shot with recipes a lot, then it's a really nice introduction to Reala Ace.
Yep.
And if you don't have an X106, then you don't need to worry, because Ritchie's already got our back and he's made another recipe that is based on Pron Neg High, and that opens the door for everyone who's got an X-Trans 4 or 5 camera and can use it. It's kind of like a different recipe, but it gives very similar results. Am I right in saying it like that?
Yeah, they're not 100% identical, but they're 95% identical. They're pretty close, and there's some different, reds especially are probably the biggest difference, but it's if you don't have Reala Ace and you want to try this recipe, there's an almost as good version for you. If you have a XT4 or newer camera, so XT4, XS10, XE4, XT32, or any of the 5th generation models, and you don't have Reala Ace, use the Pro Negative High version instead, and you pretty much get the same thing.
Yes. And you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to remember all of this right now, right here. First of all, you can go back and watch the show on replay because it'll stay on the channel for good. Secondly, we're sharing the links with you to the recipes on Ritchie's blog, so you can read up. He's shared a lot of background information on each of these articles, so definitely make a point of going there and reading it. It will help you understanding the recipe and the differences.
Yeah, and you can also find these in the Fuji X Weekly app if you don't have that. It's free to download, free to use. It's available for Apple and Android. You find them in the app stores. So probably most people watching this have the app, but in case you don't, go ahead and go download that. Put it on your phone.
Yes. It's a super handy tool, so definitely go and get that app. And thank you, Ritchie, for making it. Because I could definitely not find my way around anymore. I'd constantly go back and forth. So yes, it's a great tool. But here's another recipe for you. Mm-hmm. So like we said, there are 3, they are all rounders, but they all have very different looks and feel. And the Kodak Ultramax 400, I absolutely love this look. And it's miles apart from the previous Pro Negative 160C. Very different in, like almost everything.
Yeah. It's definitely it's based on classic chrome. It has a definite Kodak look and feel to it. Kind of has a similar output to Kodachrome 64, but definitely a lot more grittier, grainier. It's not a recipe for a clean look, but it is a recipe for a film look. And especially if you're attracted to Kodak's film stocks and stuff, like this is one that you definitely have to try. It's one of my personal favorites. I think it's one of your personal favorites too, Natalie. And
Yes.
it's great for a lot of situations. Yeah, and it's been around a lot longer than the obviously Reala Ace, or the one based on Reala Ace Pro negative 160C is brand new. This one's been around a long time. There's versions of it for cameras going all the way back to X-Trans 3. So if you have an X-Trans 3 camera or newer, there is a version of it for you.
Yes, and let's have a look at what kind of results it delivers, and going from frosty to toasty.
Yep. So, yeah, it's definitely cold in that picture, but I mean, you get to see how it works in the snow, I guess.
Yes. So whoever is at the moment around somewhere where there are still these kinds of conditions, you can enjoy that, or you can see the fairy lights, whatever, just to get an idea at this kind of a scene. Like we said, it definitely works indoors. It produces somewhat muted colors, like your classic chrome kind of look of colors, and definitely Kodachromy, which is really cool. And if you're new and you don't know yet, I think you get very quickly you get a feel for, when we keep on saying Kodachrome quite a bit. I know it's Ritchie's. It's one of your favorite film simulations and all the different variations, and you roped me into that too really quickly, I guess. So it's just, I think maybe let's go on into the other pictures. You'll see it a bit more, what we mean when we talk about the different colors and the cyan skies, like in this picture here in the background, right?
Yeah, and even how reds are rendered and stuff like that, And it definitely isn't a modern look, a modern digital look. It definitely feels like something like this picture could have been taken, in the 1980s or something, or 1990s or sometime in there.
Yes, and that's kind of like the idea that we have, and I think this sky is probably the sky with the how the clouds are rendered, and then also how you see the red. I think that's very typical Kodachrome kind of look. Yeah,
this picture screams Kodak film. I mean,
but it was definitely not shot on film. So but that's the kind of stuff that you get when you shoot with Ultramax. It's quite contrasty. So if you're not used to that, maybe that is something to get your head around a little bit, but it's worth every click, absolutely.
Yeah, and this is kind of a dimmer light situation with a little artificial light in it. It kind of gives you an idea how that works.
Yes. Yeah. So, like we said, definitely all round different scenarios. If you use other recipes or have used other recipes, you will notice that if you are in the wrong kind of scenario for this recipe, you usually get some color shifts that look a bit off. And you don't get that with these recipes. That's one of the reasons why we call them all-rounders. And golden hour, definitely a very good moment to try Kodak Ultramax.
Yeah, that's such a cool picture right there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun being up there on the mountain with the view in the background, and having an old bike and someone to boss around and take lots of pictures up there. It's really nice. Yeah, and that is Kodak Ultramax. So I must say Kodak Ultramax 400. to call it by its proper name. And there are 3 different versions. Like Ritchie said, we will, after the next recipe, when we've talked and introduced all of them, we will go through a little bit of a summary and make sure that you get an overview over all of them. I think all the links for the different recipes are in the comments, so you can go and choose the one that's right for your camera. And this one is definitely a really great film look. If that's what you're after, definitely try it out.
But, not everybody wants a Kodak look. Some people want more of a Fuji color look. So.
Well, and if that is the case, don't you worry. We've got one for you. Ritchie's been hard at work for a very long time, and he's delivering all the different looks that you could be wishing for.
Fuji Color Super HG was a film made by Fujifilm before Superior. It's kind of like the film that came before it, that Superior film replaced.
Yeah, you can definitely see this. I guess it's because it's based on classic negative. You can definitely get that quality. I do love that a lot as well. It's very film-like in a different way. It's got a very retro feel to it. I love it. Sometimes it surprises you with the results. Mm-hmm. But I think no matter what kind of photographs you take, and even no matter what recipe you have that's based on classic neg, you always see that those qualities that come out really strongly. And I had completely not noticed this recipe and used it recently for the first time, and was immediately convinced that is definitely a recipe that I need to hold on. It's you need to try it. It's really cool.
And this is actually one of the best recipes, if not the best recipe, for indoor artificial light. If you're in that kind of a situation, you have whatever kind of bulbs, fluorescent, incandescent, whatever it may be, whatever the light situation is, and maybe any other recipe would give you weird results. This one will give you good results.
Yeah, so there's definitely a nice variety amongst our all-rounders. So even if you have cameras that allow you to shoot all 3 recipes, there is a case for every single one of them. So let's
and of course, this is we talked about indoors and stuff, and the first picture here is of outdoor daylight. But this is midday, and it really highlights blues. And I don't really see much else in it. But if you're wanting to know how blue will look, this recipe is really good for blues. If you have a lot of that color in your scene, this recipe is a good option for that.
Yeah, I think the reason why I discovered it and liked it so very much is exactly for those qualities. And I found that, beach type scenes or anything that's got water in it or whatever, it just really, it gives the blue a really nice tinge, and it makes it look fresh and exciting, but keeping it, keeps it with this analog feel. So it really is very interesting for those scenarios.
And I think that last picture that you showed also illustrates that there is a lot of contrast in this recipe, and so it will give you bold results like that last picture. Sometimes, sometimes it can be too much, and that would be the one negative side to it. But sometimes you do want that bolder look, and we saw that. That last picture was amazing, by the way. That was the thumbnail for the video.
Yes.
And then here you see more of the reds and greens, and that was kind of why I picked this photo was to show those colors.
Yeah, I absolutely love how it replicates the reds, and I think this is where you definitely see that classic Neg quality. It has this kind of like muted colors. It pushes the green a little bit. It goes a little bit towards amber in the highlights. So it's got this really nice gritty look to it. But yeah, it's definitely contrasty. I think you can see it maybe also in this. It's kind of like similar to the other one where you have a lot of contrast. I think that's what you are talking about. If it's, it can get too much, it just gets so contrasty that you start losing detail, I guess.
If the scene is overly contrasty and you're using a high contrast recipe in that situation, it's going to be potentially too much contrast. Yeah. But sometimes, it can be what the scene needs. Sometimes a scene needs more contrast in it and to make it stand out. Yes.
So the best idea is to give it a try and see what works and what doesn't work. It definitely also works at night.
A little sunset light,
Yes. So it definitely also, is good to, it keeps the highlights. I think it's with a dynamic range of 400. So you protect your highlights like that and are able to still get really good color in night skies. So that's really nice. Yeah. And then the other thing that I really like about it is you can see it in the greens. It's green, but it's a muted green and it leans a little bit towards the blue, and I find that very exciting.
Yeah. And this gives you an idea of like an overcast, scenario. What is it going to do?
Yeah, definitely overcast and wet it was. So that is Fujicolor Super HG, and that's the version 2 of it. And there are 2 different ones, 2 different versions of it that you can try out and have a look, see how you'd like classic Neg.
So the V1 is also very nice, but it's not nearly as versatile. V2 is a lot more versatile. So that's why we chose V2 over V1. And then there's a version for X-Trans 5 cameras, and then there's a version for X-Trans 4 cameras, but it does require some settings that aren't available on all the cameras. So the XT4 and XS10, XE4, XT32, they can all use this recipe, but the ones that are older than that, unfortunately cannot. But if you have an XT4 or newer camera, then there's a version of this for you, and definitely give it a try.
Yes. So we have this summary here. So in case you want to get a quick overview over this, you can have a look, see here, and then screenshot it for your reference. That might be quite helpful for you. I usually use these kind of like prompts in the app. In the notes section, I quickly jot that down. So in case I don't remember exactly what the one or other recipe was, then I got these few notes that help me along quite a bit. So I invite you to do the same thing. But yeah, so that was Pro Negative 160C, the 2 different recipes that you can shoot with the X100VI, as I call it. Conformist I am.
That's what Fujifilm calls it.
Yeah. And as well as X-Trans 4 and 5 sensors. Then we have the Kodak Ultramax 400, which is really cool. Also another film look, but it's a lot more muted colors, very gritty, and really gives you cool results in different scenarios. And then last but not least, we have Fujicolor Super HG version 2, which is great for blues, for nighttime. And if it's a bit too contrasty, maybe, then rather go with the Pro Negative 160C.
Yeah. I think that's a really good summary, and yeah, definitely take a screenshot of this if you have a chance, so you can look at it later and have it as available as a resource for you.
Yes. So we invite you to try all of them out and see how you like them. And then we want you to share your best results with us. If you are new or haven't been here for a while, then please share with us whatever images you shoot, whatever you like. We put together a slideshow. The last one has just aired on the channel before this show. It was a bit overdue since it was from a recipe that we introduced in February. So please forgive us for that. But it is there. You can go watch it. And we put something together like this of all the images that we receive. So please do show us what you got. We really enjoy seeing what you come up with and all the different scenarios that these recipes are being taken into and tested. So use this link or scan the QR code, take a screenshot, keep this with you so that you can, shoot and share as you go along.
Yep.
You have until the 14th of May to send us your images, and we will then, put them all together, and a couple of days later, I promise this time it won't take so long to get the viewer slideshow together for you. And remember, because we have 3 recipes this time, just to make sure that you put the name into the file of the recipe that you use, so that we know what images you shot with. Go ahead,
that's very important. That's very important to do that, because otherwise we're like, well, we can kind of guess usually because the looks are so different, but it definitely helps us out a lot if you can put that recipe name into the file name so that we know.
Yes.
I was just going to say that that your guys' pictures are really inspiring to both myself and Natalie, and we always learn something new about how we can use a recipe in a certain situation that maybe we didn't realize it would look good in, and that kind of stuff. So we love seeing your pictures, and I just want to encourage you, if you've never uploaded, to do it. And if you have uploaded before, thank you so much. And I look forward to your continued, support of what we're doing and everything. And just, we really like your pictures. And I just want to say thank you for that, and just to encourage you to keep up with it.
Yes, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? That we take pictures and practice, and don't be shy if, you're new to this. It's definitely worthwhile to share with us. And we are also starting to share those images on Instagram. We have a channel that's been, kind of like chilling out there on Instagram for a while, but we're definitely going to take some of the photographs that you've submitted, and we will share them on Instagram so that, they can be viewed in different in different context as well. So look out for that also. And so speaking of Instagram, there are different links that you can use also to connect and recap. We have a website. In case you're not aware of that, it's just sooc.live, where you can go, where you can read up on everything that's happened on the show, all the links and everything that you need to know to participate, also for submitting your images to the viewer slideshow. Everything is right there, nice roundup, contact details. So if you're not quite sure where we're at, just go to sooc.live and, catch up with everything right there. And yeah, sorry, brain
No, that's all right.
freeze.
No, that's all right. Yeah, no, it's, guys, if you have a question, if you haven't asked it yet in the comments, now's a good time. Put a Q in front of it so that we can spot it easily. And we're here for you, so we're always happy to answer whatever questions you have about film simulation recipes or Fujifilm cameras or whatever it is. We'd love to help you out.
Yes, I think I've seen there's been quite a few comments here and there, so that's really cool. We're looking forward to bringing them up. The reason why I just had a brain freeze, because I realized that we haven't even spoken about our poll, Richie. We we put out a poll, and we had made that available, that link available, and invited everyone to vote. Because once in a while we'd like to hear from you, how you participate in all of this, what your motivation is to shoot recipes, etc. So we put out a poll and had the QR code also in the pre-show. But if you missed that, I think there is a link somewhere in the comment section. If you want to vote, you can still go there now quickly and let us know. There's just one question that we'd like to ask you. So go and participate. We will look at the results just now while we're looking at a few questions that someone may have in the comment section, or just a couple of comments from new and old folks. So let's hear it. We have some time to check you out.
Yep, and we're just stalling to give you an opportunity to answer the poll question. So go ahead and definitely do that right now if you have a chance.
Yes. We have Lisa who's asking, I noticed the new Mercury Chrome is for X-Trans 4. Is there an X-Trans 5 version coming out, Richie?
That's a really great question. And so I guess I have to go back a little bit to answer. So X-Trans 5 renders blue more deeply on some film sims, notably Classic Chrome, Classic Negative, Eterna, and Eterna Bleach Bypass. For whatever reason, Fujifilm changed how the blues are rendered, and you can pretty much match them up by taking the color chrome effect blue setting down one. So if a recipe if an X-Trans 4 recipe calls for color chrome effect blue strong, then for X-Trans 5 you would set it to weak. If it's a recipe that uses Classic Chrome, Classic Negative, Eterna Bleach Bypass. Yeah. So, or if it calls for weak, you would set it to off. Well, the Mercury Kodachrome calls for color chrome effect blue off. And so there won't be an X-Trans 5 version, but you can still use it on X-Trans 5. Just know that the blues will be a little bit darker and deeper.
Yeah, and I think that goes for I think that goes for most of your recipes. So because it's made on a specific sensor or on a variety of specific sensors, it doesn't mean that you cannot, under all circumstances, use it on a different camera. It may render differently. You may enjoy the look. It may not be exactly the same way as the sample images, and maybe not as similar as a certain film look that Ritchie is after. That doesn't mean that it's not something that you may not enjoy. So please go ahead and try it. If all else fails.
Like that it renders. Yeah, you might like that it renders blues deeper. Yes. You might appreciate that about it. You might actually like that look more. And maybe if you have an X-Trans 4 camera as well, you instead of having color chrome effect blue off, maybe you set it to weak to get the same results. But that's the reason why there's not an X-Trans V version, X-Trans 5 version, is because it just doesn't match the same look. It's very, very, very similar, and definitely give it a try and see if you like it.
Yes. Thank you so much for that question. And there's a holla from Joel. Thank you so much
Joel.
for joining us. New to the community, it's great to have you here. And on the other hand, not new to the community, a good old face to see is Torsten. He's roped in the whole family to watch. That's great. Hello, family.
Oh, awesome.
It's awesome
Hello.
to have you here. Thank you so much for the continued support. And then we have Brad Russell, who says, it's great to hear about more flexible recipes, loving those designed for specific lighting conditions, but living in the PNW, the light can, thank you, can change drastically, making the manual white balance recipes a juggle act. Yes, then these recipes that we've got here for you today are all yours to try out. No problem with changing light very quickly.
Yeah, the Pacific Northwest is just a beautiful region, it's just absolutely incredible.
We can't wait to see your recipes. I mean, the images that you shoot with the recipes. Yep. And then we have Eva, who's also a good old faithful. Thank you so much for being here again. He's joining in from Texel in the Netherlands. And Enrico from Italy. Great to have you here as well. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces. It's great that you keep on being here and showing your support. It's absolutely wonderful. And it's great
between all the people who are regulars and all the new people, it's a pretty big crowd today.
Yes, it is.
Really awesome to see that.
Yay!
Well, yeah, Joel just got his first camera in X-T5. That's awesome. That's a great camera.
That's a great start right there, Joel.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's really nice. Well, it's wonderful to have you. And Dale has been trying various recipes, looking to find some that show what the light is in the southwest of the US in the high desert fields. If that makes any sense. Well, that's your jam, isn't it?
It is. I definitely recommend recipes like Kodak Portra 400 V2. Kodachrome's always a good one. Kodachrome 64. I like
Kodak Ultramax 400.
Kodak Ultramax 400 would be excellent. And that's one of ours from today. Some other ones to think about are like Bright Summer, Bright Kodak, the Vibrant Arizona would be another one.
Yes, get away from that computer. That. Go out and shoot. That's why we're here. That's what we want to encourage everyone to do. Don't spend all that time sitting behind your desk. Go out there and take pictures.
I have so many raw files sitting on a hard drive on an old laptop that's in a closet somewhere that I'm sure I will never, ever get to. And those pictures will probably just be lost to time. And I'm okay with that. But, shooting straight at a camera allows me to take the pictures, to get them processed, which is uploading on my phone, cropping straight if I need to, and then getting them into cloud storage. And then I'm done, and then I can move on and take more pictures or spend time with family or whatever it is.
Yes. And Komula C says that Ultramax was the first recipe they used when they bought their first camera back in January.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love the
great
photos
one to
in
choose.
mid of winter. Yes. Well, there you have it. Exactly.
Yeah, we had a sample of that in the.
Yes.
But that's a great recipe to be the first.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all that information and all that experiences that you've had shooting already with recipes. Dale says that Super HG version 2 is something I'm definitely going to load and shoot. Well, excellent. Yeah. Well, look forward to it. It's great fun. I hope you like it a lot. And Bo is looking forward to getting out and trying all of these. That's fantastic. And while I just see Bo's name, And Lisa, it's a great pleasure. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Anytime if we can answer questions. But Bo often uploads images and he puts notes to that because he kind of like feels he wants to give a bit of background information on the images that he shares with us. So I only invite you to do the same thing if you want, to ask, even if you want to ask some more questions with it or want to explain something about some images, you're more than welcome to also share a note with us, upload that in whichever
in like
shape
a Word
or form.
document or something like that.
Yes, a lot of people use text documents, whichever. It's all good. Please, feel free to do that if you want. So, yeah. And there is Neil Soden. Well, hello there. A good friend of mine who's moved to the Netherlands recently and clearly finally found some time to join the show. It is so great to have you here. He says he's still using the Tri-X on his X Pro 2. Well, that is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, and the X Pro 2 is such a wonderful camera. It is. I not to get too much off topic here, and I know we're kind of pressed for time, but
yeah,
I think that the X Pro 2 is going to be one of those cameras that like 20 years from now is going to be like super highly desired. like people are going to be searching out that one, and it's going to go for ridiculous prices. I thought I saw a question on there, but it disappeared before I had a chance to read it.
Yes, so that was Joss who's asking you if if it's possible to create a Harman Phoenix 200 recipe.
I looked into that, and it's kind of a weird recipe or a kind of a weird film. It kind of, I think maybe depending on the scanner or something, it creates like these two very different looks. And so I really have to kind of see which look I want to attempt first. I don't, Harman, which is Ilford, they're saying it's a new film. I have a feeling it's not really a new film. It seems like it's actually like a cinema film, a tungsten balanced film. It may actually be a Kodak film, but I mean, I don't know for sure. There's a lot of mystery surrounding it, but it's something I have on my list to take a look at. But there's definitely two very distinct looks. There's two very distinct looks that film produces that are very different from each other, and I have to sit down and see what I can come up with.
No pressure. No pressure.
No
at
pressure.
All. Well, that's a very specific request, but thank you. Let's challenge Ritchie a little bit. And Dale's saying Kodachrome 64 was the first recipe he tried and put a lot of it through analog cameras a number of years ago. Okay, great. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of us that shot film, back in the 90s and 80s or even into the 2000s, we shot a lot of Kodachrome. I definitely have boxes of Kodachrome slides. I actually right back there in that cabinet, behind me there. So
yes, it's great. Fantastic. Excellent stuff. If there are any more questions, fire away. But I think let's move on and let's see what we came up with the poll. Let's have a look, see what everyone thought. So we asked this poll question. Let's jump in there quickly. And we asked why you use film simulation recipes, because there are a lot of different ways out there. And I think it's also great to know that it's not, for only one specific reason. There is no right or wrong answer, and there's no right or wrong way of using them.
There's anybody who tells you there's a certain way to do photography and everything else is wrong. They're giving bad advice. There's really no right or wrong way to do photography. It's just whatever works for you.
Exactly. So most people do shoot straight out of camera. Clearly, as far as this poll results concerned, a lot of JPEG. I mean, that is it makes a lot of sense, and I guess Ritchie and I are both in that as well. But some people just use it, and it's funny how 1, 2, 3, and 4 are exactly weighted by the ounces. But excuse me. Let's move this comment off here for a second. Sorry. But the second answer is that you use it as a baseline, and you still take your JPEG and then you make some adjustments. And I think Ritchie and I also sometimes do that, depending on what it is. Maybe you need to straighten it a little bit or crop some, or maybe adjust the exposure slightly or something.
Yeah, that's mainly what I do. Mostly it's cropping and straightening, and other than that, they're unedited. For myself, I had a project recently where I had to clean up a little bit of remove some graffiti off of something. I had to clone stamp that out and stuff like that. But okay. It was a special circumstance for that. But for the most part, almost all my pictures are straight out of camera, other than maybe some cropping and straightening.
Yes. So that is that. And, some people just like to get an idea of how it looks, but actually, you still take your raw file into your software and you edit it. That's perfectly fine. But that's a smaller number of people. And I'm glad to see that nobody here has never heard of film simulation recipes. That's great. Thank you so much for playing along here. That was great and gives us good insight as to what you guys do with it. And at the same time, it's great to talk about the fact that, not one size fits all, and that is perfectly fine. And I think it's time to start wrapping it up.
I gotta run real soon.
Yes, yeah. So before you leave us, Ritchie, just another reminder to share your images with us. So go out, you've got a month to shoot with the recipes, try them out. We hope that you like them, and then take your favorite 3 and share them with us, and then we'll put them together in a slideshow and you can watch them in about a month's time. You have until the 14th of May to do so. And also make sure that you subscribe to our channel. And, if you like the channel, and give us a thumbs up. Let me just get rid of this comment here for a second. And there's a lot going on here right now, sorry. So we'd love to grow the channel. We want to make the circle bigger. If you know of someone who might enjoy this as well, share it with us. And if you subscribe, you'll get notifications when we schedule the next show, which is going to be in a month's time. That's usually our schedule. And the next show is going to be a little bit something special, because we want to finally invite some live guests again. We've been threatening with it for the longest of time. And next month, we want to open up this platform to get some people to chat about their experiences. So it would be really great. If you're interested, don't be shy. Reach out to us and we will, make it happen. Don't worry about the live part of things. We've got you covered. We will make sure that you're comfortable, because we would love to rub shoulders and hear from people in the community. So the date that we set is Ritchie, help me out here, my brain. I think it's the 23rd. The 23rd of May.
Yes, 23rd of May.
It's a Thursday, so pencil that in. If you feel like it, join us. And but we will reach out to you as well, don't you worry. We know there were some people who wanted to come on the show, so we will put our feelers out and make sure that it will happen, and we'll have a good old chat in a month back here in the same place. But up until then, We need to send Ritchie on his merry way. He's
Yep.
really busy. He needs to go places.
So yeah, I gotta run real quick here.
Yes. So
it was great to see you all, and great to chat with you, Natalie, and great to see you all in the audience and all your interactions. It's been a really good time, and I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you learned something, and it was just really good.
Yes, it was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time, Ritchie. It's been absolutely invaluable to have you here. And thanks to everyone for joining us today. It was great to interact with you. Thank you for all your commenting and everything. So, let's keep that communication going. And we can't wait to do it again really soon. So up until then, keep well and take lots of awesome JPEGs. We will see you again real soon. Thank you.
Bye.
And goodbye for now.
Good night, and thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy the show.